goal of this is to break it out into 3 different categories. Of course, we have entry level, we have mid-career level, and of course, we have an advanced level where you've got at least 8 years of experience. But before we get into this, if you could do me a huge favor and hit that like, that subscribe, and of course that bell icon at the bottom, I would deeply appreciate it. And you'd help support the channel, and that's really what we're going for. So let's talk about it. What is our first certification for entry level? Number 3 coming into the charts. Well, that's going to be Network Plus. Network Plus is going to be our top of the line, or I should say our bottom of the line entry level. Why Network Plus? It's not even directly related to cybersecurity. Why did I pick Network Plus? Well, the fact is if you're a brand new cybersecurity person and you're like, hey, I want to break into cybersecurity, I'm college age, or I'm entry level, or maybe I'm in high school, why go after this one first? Well, it's very simple. In order to be valuable as a cybersecurity employee, maybe an analyst, maybe somebody that's kind of going through and doing incident response, you have to know networks. You have to. And so this certification really plays on that understanding, that foundational knowledge that I need to know. And Network Plus really shines with understanding how routing, switching, how the protocols work, basic network troubleshooting. But more than that, it concentrates on understanding the whole system when it comes to networking. And you kind of have to know that in order to effectively, well, maneuver into cybersecurity. And so that's why it plugs in right at number 3 for our entry-level cybersecurity certifications right at the get-go. So next, I want to talk about a different certification. You may be thinking, oh, Dr. K, you're always on CompTIA. Are they giving you kickbacks? No, CompTIA does not give you kickbacks. I like CompTIA. But number 2, not a CompTIA cert, certified in cybersecurity. Certified in cybersecurity. This is ISC squared certification, also for entry level. Also looking for somebody that may not have all of that information, all that knowledge. And so why certified in cybersecurity? Well, it goes into access control. It goes into governance, basic security operations. It talks about everything that you need to know when it comes to cybersecurity. It's very beginner friendly, but it lacks that hands-on technical depth that we may see in other certifications. And so it's very easy to somebody to get jumped in right in there with cybersecurity. It can help you out. It's designed for newcomers with no experience. It offers a semi-structured cybersecurity pathway for fundamentals. And so it's really just a great first time or transitioning certification for cybersecurity. And I want to point that out, right? It's very much detailed more towards those transitioning from an unrelated field rather than somebody that's in it. Of the 2, I feel like this is a better certification than Network Plus. And it's definitely one that I would put in my tool bag unless, of course, I have my next one, which I knew you knew this was coming up. I knew you probably were like, Dr. K is going to talk about this one. Yep, it is 100% Security Plus. Security Plus right there. Security Plus, if you have this one, you really don't need ISC squared certified in cybersecurity. Matter of fact, I would almost forego certified in cybersecurity by ISC squared in favor of Security Plus if you're capable of doing it. If it's not free or something like it, it's gonna provide a little bit more value. Why? It has a little bit more in depth. It has a little bit more hands-on within its certification branches. And you'll hear me constantly say this, right? Security Plus, it's definitely not a hands-on certification. It's very much a practical, or I should say theoretical knowledge, much more than a hands-on certification. You're talking about ports, you're going to talk about protocols. It's going to go a little bit more in depth with our access controls, governance, and security operations than CC does, right? But it's going to provide us with that fundamental knowledge that CC doesn't give us. And it's 8570 compliant for DoD, which is a big plus. It's industry recognized across the board. Listen, I hate to say this about Security Plus, I really do, but they kind of cornered the market when it comes to entry-level cybersecurity certifications. They really did. CompTIA did a great job of marketing Security Plus as the go-to cybersecurity certification, and unfortunately, you kind of have to have it if you're trying to break into cybersecurity, unfortunately. It's just one of those things. It's great for beginners. It's great for IT professionals that are trying to maybe specialize in cybersecurity or try to find a pathway towards cybersecurity. Key topics, of course, are threat detection, access control, vulnerability management, a little bit of cryptography and risk management, but it kind of goes all over the place. It's a wider array than what we see in certified in cybersecurity. but it's definitely better known. And so my top three, right off the bat, Network Plus, certified in cybersecurity coming in at number 2, and number 3, of course, Security Plus. And this is, of course, for those entry-level people trying to break into cybersecurity from the start with no prior experience coming in. Even if you have prior experience, I would even argue Security Plus is a worthwhile certification. Coming in at the mid-level point for those cybersecurity specialists already working in the job or having quite a bit of experience in the IT department where they're kind of dabbling in cybersecurity a little bit already, but they've got a good foundational knowledge. This would be our mid-career certifications. Coming in at number 3, right out the gates, well, it's got to be Cisco Certified Cyber Ops. Cisco Certified Cyber Ops Associate. This focuses on mid-level SOC skills, right? So we've got the security operation analyst skills, which is a big thing if you're trying to break into cybersecurity, or I should say not really break into it, but kind of gain some momentum in that career, right? Provides a little bit of monitoring, intrusion detection, event correlation. It's valuable for SOC roles, and especially narrow when it comes to literally working on a SOC, a security operations center. And so that can provide just some key details. Now, there are problems with Cisco certified, of course. That's more of a vendor-specific certification, which means it's more aligned with Cisco. But that shouldn't take away from its overall importance when it comes to a mid-level career certification. Definitely worth getting, right? Provides professionals with those SOC-related specific skills and introduces, of course, those Cisco tool sets, because what wouldn't you expect from a vendor certification? It's great for IT professionals transitioning into cybersecurity or those that are trying to aim for a SOC role position, but it kind of stops there, right? If you're not really working for a SOC position, I don't feel like this certification is something that you should jump into. It's really not going to provide you that bandwidth. Is it still useful? Yes, it's definitely useful. And when it comes to mid-career certifications, it's definitely better out there than a lot of other ones. And so it's definitely going to rank as a number 3 for me. When it comes to number 2, of course, we have to contend on to the next one. No big secret here. It's got to be CEH, Certified Ethical Hacker. Certified Ethical Hacker. Globally recognized, so it's got that recognition that we're always looking for. Ethical hacking certification. This is where most people really want to go into that penetration testing route. A lot of people construe CEH in line with Pen Test Plus. Of course, there's OSCP as well, but CEH really has the marketing that we see with Security Plus is on CEH when it comes into pen testing. It's a strong credential for professionals looking to specialize in ethical hacking, but there is a problem. It doesn't cover the defensive aspects of those same roles. Now, here's the problem with that. Okay, 90% of the jobs out there, they're not for offensive cybersecurity, they're for defensive cybersecurity. And while CEH does provide some unique benefits towards that, and I always tell students, in order to truly understand defense, you kind of have to know offense a little bit as well. Those skills are definitely valuable when it comes down to it. Target audience, of course, for this one, penetration testers, vulnerability analysts, and red team members. Covers attack vectors, penetration testing methodologies, and a little bit of countermeasures when you come into it. While it is a strong offensive cybersecurity certification, it does have a gap when you're looking for those defensive roles. However, I have noticed that a lot of companies, even on those defensive benchmarks, those defensive jobs, they're still looking for somebody with CEH. So it's maybe worthwhile to pick up the certification in 2025 if you're trying to get an edge over your opponents, those people that are looking for those same jobs as you. However, when it comes to number 1, this one that I always talk about, it's very much on my list. Well, it's got to be CISA. There's no big secret right there. CISA, one of my favorite certifications, really one of the certifications that I often relate to, is the first true cybersecurity certification you should be going after if you're in the defensive sphere. Why CISA? Well, it provides a balanced mix of technical and practical skills, much more leaning on the practical side than the theoretical side. It's great for SOC analysts, but it's more than just SOC analysts, right? We have threat hunters, we have incident responders out there. Talks about threat management, some about vulnerability management, security operations, and of course compliance. And so it runs the gamut. It's a much more well-rounded than either CEH or Cisco Cyber Operations Associate. If I only had to pick one, well, CISA would be at number top when it comes to mid-career. You'll often hear me tell my students, Hey, you've got Security Plus, immediately start studying for CYSA. I cannot pound that enough. I really feel that even though it's a mid-career certification, it's definitely one I would jump on if you're brand new into cybersecurity. As soon as you get Security Plus, I would start studying for it. You should be able to knock it out within 6 months after getting your Sec Plus, as long as you can put your hands on a keyboard. And that's going to rank our mid-career certifications for 2025. Cisco is followed by CH, and of course, CYSA for the top of the charts. Now, when it comes to those advanced levels, so those advanced persons into cybersecurity, they're already passing that midway point. They've got about 8 years of cybersecurity experience. You're probably looking in where to break into your next career path, where you're trying to go when it comes into it to advance your career past the SOC analyst role, past the SOC manager role, into something that's a little bit more, well, either technical or managerial. And this is really where the break comes into play, because there's really no one direction to go in. You could go auditing, you could go into offensive ethical hacking, you could go into management. And so this one was a little bit weird because there really is no predefined 1, 2, and 3 when it really comes down to this. There's obviously some certifications that you should get, and I've ranked them in order for the last 2 levels, but when it comes to that advanced structure, you're really more specializing than you're actually trying to get into a different career field. As such, well, even though I put these in 1, 2, and 3 order, they're not really 1, 2, or 3. There's definite advantages towards each one, depending on what you're trying to accomplish with your career at the time. So let's talk about the first one, of course. Offensive Security Certified Professional, OSCP, is a fantastic certification. I've been told multiple times, and I don't hold this certification, by the way, nor have I ever attempted it, because this is not a certification that I'm really out to get, but it's highly respected. Hands-on certification for offensive cybersecurity professionals. This one is where, if you have this certification, I've been told time and time again, you will never be questioned about your capability to be an ethical hacker. It is that gold standard of offensive cybersecurity. So OSCP provides advanced technical expertise in ethical hacking and penetration testing, essential for red teams and offensive security roles, per their website. Target audience, of course, is those senior penetration testers, red team leaders, and offensive security specialists. And this really comes into play where if I was trying to go down this route, right, when I was 20 years younger and probably wanting to learn how to hack and go through that process, I would still do CEH first. I really would. And then I would go after OSCP. That's a route I would take. Of course, that's your prerogative. But this is going to be for those people that just don't want a managerial role and they love the technical. They love the keyboard. OSCP is going to be the cert to go after. Next one we've got, of course, is Certified Information Security Manager, CISM. CISM. It's tailored for managers, or I should say professionals who want to manage or govern those information security professionals, blending both technical understanding as well as managerial skills together. Highly sought for leadership roles in a variety of different ways. Now, you may be asking yourself, why CISM and why not some of the other ones out there? Well, CISM is actually one of those that really kind of concentrates on both technical as well as managerial. And I feel like that's an even trade-off, because a lot of people there may be like, well, you know what? I don't want to be a CISO. I don't want to be a director. I want to be somebody that's in there in the pits, still with the technical expertise, but also a manager in there. And that's where CISM really highlights its capabilities, where it highlights that specific certification. And I feel like there's a definite place for that in cybersecurity. I feel like there's a lot of people that when they get up to the high levels of management, they only understand the theory. They only understand the governance. They only understand risk. And that's great. That's a management kind of opportunity. But for those that really want to keep their hands on the technology, CISM is a great certification. Definitely one that I would recommend for that slot. And of course, we couldn't do advanced technical certifications without talking about CISSP, right? CISSP, Certified Information Systems Security Professional, the gold standard of managerial cybersecurity. However, it's specific enough to be that theoretical knowledge, that governance, that identification of not only security and risk management, but security operations. Here's the thing with CISSP. There's no technical in this certification whatsoever. You don't need to do keyboarding with this certification. This is all management. It's all business. It's always talking about what does the business need? How does the management come into play? And that's an important distinction between CISM and CISSP. CISSP is still hands-on. or I should say CISM is still hands-on. CISSP is not. CISSP is very much the gold standard for managers in cybersecurity. So if you're looking for that CISO role, you're looking for that director role, you're looking for somebody that's trying to get out of the day-to-day keyboard punching, this is probably the certification you want to go after. It's globally recognized, comprehensive coverage, and it is a bear. I have this exam, I have this certification. I got to tell you, this is the only time I've ever, in my entire career, failed on the first go. And I'm not afraid to admit it. The fail rate on CISSP for first-timers is some ridiculous amount. I think I read somewhere that it was like 85% first-time failure. So if you're going after this certification, I recommend highly that you buy one of those get out of jail free or 2-for-1 deals or whatever, right? That's what I did because I knew that the exam was hard. I had no idea how truly hard it was until I took it. And by taking it and failing it the first time, I really learned a lot about how they ask their questions. And I don't think anything quite prepares you for how they ask their questions until you actually take it. All right, that's it for me for today. These are, of course, the top 9 certifications, 3 for each level. I hope you found this educational, and of course, I'd appreciate that like, that subscribe, and of course, that bell icon on the bottom. Until next time, I'm Dr. K. We'll see you.